Hello class, I'm going to be teaching via video today again. I'll be back tomorrow though. But for today we're learning the law of cosines. And the law of cosines allows us to solve for any triangle. Specifically, it's really good if you have triangles that look like side angle side or side side side. This is just another alternative to regular trig or the law of sines. Now we've got the law of cosines, which is giving you lots of options to solve. Now, what I have on the front here, notice it's already worked out on your notes. This is how the law of sines came about. So let's write that on here. How the law came about. Okay, so if you were a mathematician back in history, this is how they stumbled upon it. Just a nice little note, you do not have to do this. This is just for knowledge's sake, so you can see where it came from, but we're not going to ask you to do this on a quiz or a test. But really how this works, if you did Pythagorean Theorem on this top triangle, if you did the b squared equals h squared plus x squared, that's the triangle on the left here. I'll match them up. And then if you do it again for the triangle on the right, we'll give it 2 check marks. That is the Pythagorean Theorem, a squared equals h squared plus c minus x squared. Basically, you solve them both for h squared. Once they're both equal to the same thing, you can set them equal to each other, which is the second bullet point. Then you set them equal and get a squared by itself. Now there's a little foiling and combining like terms that has to be done in the middle. Just for sake of space, I took that out. That's how that would happen. And then you end up with this a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2cx. And the third bullet point, you go back to regular trig. If you did cosine of angle A, it's x over b. And if you got that x by itself, then you end up with over here on the right, that b times cosine A equals x. And then the fourth bullet point, if you put the two together and then reorder it, then you end up with the law of cosines. It says a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times cosine A. The front and the back are the a's, and then you've got b and c work happening in the inside. Again, you do not have to do this on your own, but it's nice to know where things come from. What you do need to know how to do is on the back side. Okay, law of cosines works for any angle. So you've got 3 options here. If you are solving with a squared, notice the back is cosine A. If you have the b in the front, the back will be cosine b. If you have the c in the front, notice you're using cosine c. But either way, it works out the same way. It just depends on what parts you're using. It is probably easiest to find the largest angle first. That's only when you are given the side, side, side case that you would want to do that. Okay, so let's start out with one of those cases first. On example 1, we would like to solve for all of the missing parts. They want us to decide if it's side angle side or side 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 case. Well, if you look at your triangle, you have a side that's 9, a side that's 7, a side that's 8. That would be your side 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 case. Okay, so we would like to solve for the largest side first. I'm going to scooch this down so I have a little bit more wiggle room. So if that's the case, the largest side should probably be across from the largest angle, largest side will be across from each other. So 9 is the largest side, which means angle B opposite it will be the largest angle. So we're going to solve for that one first. Okay, well, if we're doing B's, the way the law of cosines will look, it'll be b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac with the cosine of b on the back end. Notice the a and the c combo is in the middle, and we're solving for the outer end. Okay, b squared, that is our side that's 9. 9 squared equals a. Side A is the 8. Side C is the 7. Minus 2, you're going to put 8 and 7 in there again. And the angle B is what we're trying to solve for. 9 squared is 81. 8 squared is 64. 7 squared is 49. 2 times 8 times 7. We would have a minus 112 with our cosine of B. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to subtract 64 and 49 off of 81. I'm moving everything over to the left. 81 minus 64 minus 49 is a negative 32. And the only thing left on the right is that negative 112 with our cosine B. Well, we're going to divide by that negative 112. So negative 32 divided by negative 112 gives us let's go 286 equal to cosine B. Now, we're solving for an angle, which is that second version of cosine, the one with the little negative 1 behind it. So you're going to do your second cosine button, plug in your point 286 behind it, and this is how we end up at angle B. So second cosine, I'm just going to do second answer in my calculator. I get 73.4 degrees for angle B. 73.4 degrees. So we've got the first one solved for. We need to solve for another one. So let's try out, let's do angle C next. Okay, you can really pick whichever one you want. Let's do the C. So if I'm going to do C, I've got C squared equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB with a cosine of C. I'm going off my page a little bit here. Okay, so C squared is 7. So 7 squared equals, A is 8 squared, B is 9 squared, minus 2, we've got 8 times 9 with our cosine of C. When you square, you get 49 plus 64 plus 81 minus 2 times 8 times 9 is negative 144 with our cosine of C. At this point, we're going to subtract your 64 and your 81 to the left. 49 minus 64 minus 81 gives you a negative 96 equal to negative 144 with our cosine of C. Then you divide your negative 144. You end up with 0.667 equal to cosine of C. Again, this is the point where we're solving for angles. So you need your second, then cosine button, second button cosine, to get that negative 1. Type your 0.667 directly in there, and when you hit enter, it's going to give you angle C. That is 48.2 degrees. So there's your second angle, 48.2. Third angle is definitely the easiest angle. We've got 180 minus our 48.2 we found, minus the 73.4. That's going to leave us with a remainder of 58.4 for angle A. There's your third and final missing parts. Just like before, you have to solve for all three missing angles or sides. In this case, we were going all angles. All right, let's try another one out. This one, if you look at it, we've got a side of 19, a side of 22, and an included angle of 81. This is your side angle side case. Well, we can really start anywhere here. I'm thinking, let's start for the side. Okay, the missing side, opposite angle B, so this would be side B. Let's start with that one. Okay, the way our law of cosines, if we're solving for the B, we have B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC with the cosine of the big B. And then you can plug in your parts. Well, we're solving for the B, so it's going to stay B squared. A is 22. C is 19 minus 2 times 22 and 19 again. And cosine, this time we have the angle, it was 81. Now it's all about simplifying that whole entire right-hand side. 22 squared is 484. 19 squared is 361. Now, the last part, you can put it all in at once. On your calculator, do -2 times 22 times 19 times cosine 81. You're going to get a negative 130.779. You don't have to go that far in the decimals, but you should still have some there. And then over on the right-hand side, you can keep simplifying, add and subtract that whole entire side together. You get 714.221. At this point, we need just a regular b. So you are going to square root both sides and end up with 26.7 for our remaining, 26.7, there we go, for our remaining third side. Now we have all the sides. Now we need to solve for the last angles. Well, you can really go anywhere you want. Let's try out and solve for angle A. Now, because it's an A that I'm solving for, the way my law of cosines is going to work, a squared by itself equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc with a big cosine of angle A on the back end. Okay, notice A is on the front and the back. A is 22. B, we just solved, is 26.7. C is 19. Minus 2, we got another 26.7, another 19 times our cosine of A that we're going to solve for. Now we square everything. 22 squared is 484. 26.7 squared is 714.2. 19 squared is 361 minus 2 times 26.7 times 19 gives me 1014.6, and it's followed by that cosine of A still. All right, we're trying to get that cosine by itself. So let's subtract the 714.2 and the 361. Everything's moving to the left. If we do the math, 484 minus 714.2 minus 361 gives me a negative 591.2. I am equal to the negative 1014.6 with our cosine of A. Then I'm going to divide the negative 1014.6 over to the left. That simplifies to a 0.583 equal to our cosine of A. Again, we're solving for an angle, so you need that second version of cosine on the calculator. Put the 0.583 directly in, and it's going to leave us with angle A as big as 54.4 degrees. There's our missing angle A. So if I put it on my picture, I got 54.4 degrees. The only thing left is the third and final angle. You can do that one by subtracting from 180. 180 minus the 54.4 we just found, minus the 81 that was given in the original picture. That leaves 44.6 for our remaining angle C. Okay. I apologize, I kind of crammed that in the middle there. Hopefully you can see that. All right, one time for good moral measure. We got one more problem. It is a side angle side example. If you look at that picture, we've got two sides and one angle given. We can start really anywhere again. I'm going to go with the side. We're given angle C. It's side C opposite we don't know. Our law of cosines will look like the above. We have C squared equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine C. We're solving for a C, that's why it's on front and the back. Okay, well, it's the side C that we're looking for, so it's going to stay C squared. A is 17, B is 22, and so we've got minus 2 times another 17 and 22, and cosine angle C is 42. Now it's all about simplifying that right-hand side. 17 squared is 289. 22 squared is 484 minus 2 times 17 times 22 times cosine of 42. Put that all in the calculator. That's going to simplify to a negative 555.87. Again, keep simplifying that right-hand side. 289 plus 484 minus 555.87 is 217.13. Last step. Take the square root, and C is going to be 14.7. Okay, that is our final side. We also really need the rest of the angles. I'm going to go with angle A again here. Okay, I'm going to squeeze my law of cosines into the right-hand side here. We're going to have A squared equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC times cosine of A. A squared is 17. B squared is 22. C, that is what we just found. That is your 14.7 minus 2 times 22 times 14.7 times the cosine of A. All right, now we got to plug in what we can here. 17 squared is 289. 22 squared is 484. 14.7 squared is 217.1 minus 2 times 22 times 14.7 is 646.8 and times that cosine of A on the back end. Well, now we got to subtract. Take the 484, the 217.1 over to the left-hand side. So if you simplify 289 minus 484 minus 217.1, you get a negative 412.1 equal to our negative 646.8 cosine of A. Almost there. We got to divide by negative 646.8. We're going to end up with 0.637. Now, the only thing left is the cosine of A, which I'm skipping a step here. I'm just going to throw that negative cosine in front. That's going to give us our angle A, and when you simplify, you end up with a 50.4 degrees for your angle A. I apologize, it's a little tight down there. Well, if that's the case, we now have 2 out of the 3 angles. The last one is the fastest for angle B. Take 180 minus the given 42 minus the 50.4 we just found. That leaves us with 87.6 degrees for angle B. And now you have all parts solved through the law of cosines. Now, there's a link at the bottom of the notes. If you need extra examples, they will walk you through with written out directions. That's kind of nice. And also, if you want to rewatch this video, I'm going to put it on my website. I know I went a little fast. That will help you out when you're working at home. Okay, for tonight, you guys do have a worksheet, and I will be back tomorrow.